and welcome to MGP365. I'm Kevin. With me as ever, there's Sheepdog, Anna, and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Aloha.
Hello.
And say hello to episode number 365. We've made it through a full year of daily episodes. That's how we've been doing it all. If you're new, this has been 1 year of daily podcasting you've listened
Happy
to
birthday
here.
to us.
Exactly. If you're not new, you know that we're actually nearly 10 years old, and getting to 365 episodes in that time demonstrates how startlingly inconsistent our release schedule has been, because we should be on about episode 600 by now. But disregard all of that. Happy 1 year anniversary, everybody. Did we all get cake?
I have cake on a daily basis.
Had some cake at the weekend.
I can't have cake.
You had a cake an hour
Hold on,
ago.
I'm getting to that. I had a Tesco Ms. Molly mini Swiss roll, which it was quite nice, very sugary, but quite nice. Only 3 points on Weight Watchers. But what I was going to say is it was my daughter's 18th birthday this week, and I didn't even have cake for that. That's how committed I am to becoming the fit and sexy member of this podcast. I'm going to show you all that when we have our annual swimsuit competition at EGX this year. I am determined to win for once. I'm fed up of losing to Pab.
Yeah, going the opposite way, because I did have birthday cake this week.
It wasn't your birthday.
Yes, it was.
We do this every year. Why do you have a secret birthday every year?
I just find it amusing that
You are a monster. How have we missed your birthday? It's like, what, 5 years in a
tell
row?
us what day it is. We just know it's sometime in January.
I didn't know it was sometime in January.
When.
I have no long-term memory.
This happens every year.
Pab, if you just said we'd get you something like a card or just a pat on the back.
It's not-
I mean,
I
is that
don't
why
need
you were so
anything.
bitter an hour ago when we started recording? You've realised that we're never going to remember, and now you're over it. But an hour ago you were seething.
Are you my daughter's twin brother?
No.
What day is your birthday on, Pab?
It was last Saturday.
Everyone write that
what
down.
date
We can
was
steal
that,
his
Pab?
identity. Yeah.
Was that
And
the
what's
18th?
your national insurance number?
Yeah, no, you've got to be asking me something now.
Is your birthday the 18th of January?
Might be.
No, it's not. My birthday's not. My birthday's the 10th of July.
I think I know somebody else who has that birthday. I'm going to lock
What,
you
the
in
10th
my
of
minds
July?
together as the same people, and then that will help me
So,
remember.
Pab has now turned 40. Is that what we're saying? Happy birthday,
If I'm
Pab.
40, you're closer to 50.
I think
Ooh,
Pab's the
I
youngest, isn't
I
he?
get a little closer to 50 every day, just like we all do, Pab.
Yes, but you...
I'm the youngest at heart.
I don't
have
think we
the
need
most-
to make you feel old. You've got an adult child. That's
Yeah,
insane.
but I'm full of youthful exuberance every day, whereas you lot are grumpy old men.
I'm
and
not a
Anna.
man.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You're a grumpy woman. None of you lot have got my youth and vigor. Age is just a number.
All right, old man.
Yeah,
It is mad to think that she was 8 when we started doing this.
that is mad.
Wow.
That's the craziest statistic
That is-
to talk. I've spent all week having people say, "Kev, you've got an adult daughter. How does that make you feel?" She was my daughter last week too. But,
Yeah, but-
knowing that she's lived more of her life with me doing this podcast than with me not doing this podcast is insane.
Yeah, it's yeah. Like you're more of a podcaster than anything. That's the job you've had the longest in her life.
Yeah, and she's an adult now, so it's not like, oh, she is only 18 months old, Kev. Obviously, you'll have spent
for
her
my
whole life
kids.
doing the podcast.
Yeah, my daughter
Yeah,
was 1 when we started, and the other one wasn't even born. So
For my
yeah,
adult
I've got
daughter,
3. but-
who now attends university, has known me doing this podcast for more than half her life. That's mad. How have we not made any money out of this yet? What on
you
earth
keep
are we doing?
siphoning it off.
You won't take it out. The money's
Yeah,
there.
you siphon it off into your problems.
Oh, I forgot we have these adverts now. don't
Please
we?
do
Did
that, because
Did
I
everyone
don't know
enjoy
what
this
happens
week's
to it.
advert? What was this week's advert?
I like
We
people
know
telling
yet.
me what they are. I don't know what they are because I'm not Pab. I don't listen to my own show. But we did have 2 new reviews. We had an old
yeah.
review rewritten, which I love to see
Updated.
that. All the people listening
yeah.
who want to update old reviews.
Was it? I changed my mind. They're all right after all.
No, it's something like, even 10 years on, these guys are still amazing, which I just thought was, really, really sweet. And another one was a new one.
Sheepdog, here's something else for you. When we started this podcast, I don't think either of us had beards.
We're both quite substantially thinner as well, which seems odd because we were known for drinking beer and eating cheese.
When we first started, I was roughly the same weight I am now, but then it was like I got I did get ill quite early on in the podcast, lost about 6 stone. So by the time the first MGPX came round, I was quite thin, but now I'm back where I was when I started. So I think the answer to my weight issues is I need to get kidney stones and be too sick to eat for like 6 months, because then I get down to the closest to my healthy weight I've ever been as an adult. So I might just stop drinking water. I've got an appointment with the doctors next week. I might say, look, doctor, I know you've been telling me for 10 years that I've got to drink water to stop the kidney stones coming back, but have you seen how much weight I've put on in that time?
It's probably all water.
If it's all right with you, I'm just not going to drink anything for the next week because I want to go back on the kidney stone diet. I know it hurts, but it's effective and it lasts like 5 years. So can I have a little bit of that? Are you on board with this tactic?
If you bought a dehumidifier, it'd probably just dry that water out of you and you'd lose all the weight anyway. Just keep drinking it.
Yeah. One day I'm hoping I'll start urinating again.
Are you a camel?
I'm just drinking all this water, but there's a kidney stone blocking any of it from coming out. I've not been getting fat. I've just been filling up for 8 years. And any time now, the stone's going to burst out with such force.
You laugh. When I was the brief period in my life where I was a nurse, I had the really, really bizarre task of going up to a man every 25 minutes and turning the tap in his side to empty out another big jug of liquid, and then turned the tap off and then poured it away.
I thought you were going to say you had to go and milk him.
Well, essentially, it just had a tap in his side. It coming from a little tube, and I just had to drain him.
He had a kidney stone right at the end of his penis, so every 25 minutes, I had to manipulate it to let the urine get around the stone.
It was a very bizarre task, and...
As bizarre as the task I just described, or less bizarre?
Better than that task, but yeah. That could be you having a tap on your side at one point or another, being drained.
I could live with a tap. If that's all it took, because it was so easy to lose that weight because I couldn't eat. Whereas now it's considerably harder because my body still wants food. I find it much easier to lose weight when I physically can't eat, and when I do, I just vomit.
It is interesting thinking that people like Lee McElwain are listening to these daily now, and he's listening to the point, and they're all saying, "Oh yeah, God, those first 25 were really good, and they're really enjoying all the bits there where we were taking it super super serious." And I think they're about to enter the territory where you were on painkillers, and it all just went a bit loopy.
Word. I don't even remember that year. The really scary thing about that, it's not even how trippy the podcasts probably got. I don't remember them. It was the fact that was while I was completing my teacher training. This was all going on. I qualified as a teacher, completely drugged off my skull and not knowing what was going on.
You drove me to a lot of places while drugged off your skull as well.
I was on placement at the college that we were both on placement at. I remember weeing blood halfway through in the toilets at that college, thinking, that's not good. And the next thing I remember, I was working in a school. and I don't know what happened in between those two things at all. So I'm not certain that I ever qualified as a teacher. It was a running gag at the last school I worked at, where every now and again they'd say, "You're going to bring those certificates in at some point," and I go, "Yeah, whatever." And I never actually showed them my degree or my PGCE. Well, do
you know what's interesting? Years. I don't remember. We didn't go to our graduation because you didn't want to, interestingly. But also, I kept asking my school whether they'd seen my qualifications because I couldn't find them. And I don't know where either of my qualifications are. So I keep meaning to write to both of the unis and say, can they send them out?
There's every chance we never got any certificates for the teacher thing then.
You might have just told me in a haze, "Oh yeah, no, they're sending them out," and I've just gone, "Oh right, Kev knows what he's on about."
No, nothing ever came through for teaching, I don't think.
Because for all I know, I didn't finish the course. I don't know. Was I there most of the time?
Well, I know.
I spent a lot of that summer in hospital.
from the first degree, there's a picture of us standing with Warwick Davis in the background, and we definitely witnessed him.
It could have
in
been
the speech.
taken anywhere.
I mean, that sounds like a hallucination in itself. We're in a cathedral with Warwick Davis. But you might have been hallucinating. We could have all just been tripping on Kev's painkillers.
I took so many drugs that there's every chance we were all high, just off the back of passive drugging, which I think is a thing.
Because I remember going on a flight to the Canary Islands with Warwick Davis, so I could have been tripping like mad. It all just seems a little bit more wrong when we put it that little frame on it. So yeah, like we noted, this is 365. This does mean that potentially 4 people are finishing their 365th episode in a row, daily listening. You might have an £80 bill in your future.
I'm going to say now that I did follow through on the plan I was just discussing, and anything I said whilst under the influence of my painkillers doesn't count, so I don't owe anybody anything. I'm going to backdate it. I don't remember saying it. It all happened when I was on the kidney stone diet, so it doesn't count. I've just had a sip of my drink now. I need to purge. No more liquids, Kev.
I think we should say congratulations to anyone who did make the full thing.
No. Well, yeah, it's all right. You can say that. You haven't got to pay them £80 or £20 each. There's not a chance 4 people made it to the end. Lee McElwain is the only one who made it, and we all know it.
Yeah, well done, Lee, if he does. Because that is pretty mad. I mean, he's the only person I could think of who would be mad enough to do it.
Lee, well done, and good luck ever seeing the money.
See you in court, McElwain.
Yeah, you've got to come and fetch it.
Don't say that, he will.
I know, and it'll be hilarious.
What's weird is he's going to get to this episode at 365, and he's actually going to have done, another 40... I'm assuming we managed to push out 40 episodes this year. He's going to be about at 400 by the time he gets there, because he, like a maniac, he's listening to one every day, plus the one from that week. So, that's dedication.
He needs to get a job or something. This is terrifying that he manages to do this.
Oh, he doesn't need to work with 20 quid in his future.
That's a good point. If he's got this arrangement with like 10 podcasts, that's £200. That anyone could live off that kind of money.
Especially in the north, where I hear he's from.
That's a good point. In the north, £200. You're basically a millionaire if you've got 3 digits.
Kevin.
Aren't you? That's how the north works. We went to the north. We stayed in a city centre flat in Manchester, and it cost us like £60 a night. We're going to London in a few weeks, and it's costing like 8 times that for a similar place. The north is cheap.
London's just mental, to be fair.
Yeah. They should stop putting all the events there. They should put all the events in Manchester. Then I don't have to go to London.
Well, I'm trying to drag you to an event in Liverpool in April, but you're being non-committal.
Because I've got a lot on, little fella, and April is when Anna finishes uni.
In Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Liverpool.
How about you, Pam?
Lovely.
I've only ever been there once.
I hear Mancunians love Liverpool. Do you want to meet me in Liverpool for an event, Pab?
No.
What event is it in Liverpool that we're going to?
It's the so they're doing a Pokemon Go Safari Zone.
Definitely not.
What the hell does that mean when it's at home?
It's like a step down from their Go Fest that they do in Chicago, which I'd much rather go to if you fancy scoring.
I'd rather go to Chicago than Liverpool. If I've got the option.
About 3 or 4 times a year they do them across Europe and South America and North America and all of this. And they just happen to be doing one in Liverpool this time. It's the first proper UK one they've done, and I don't know anyone who. So the guys I know. What
actually happens there? What is it?
They set up like lots of like on the day questy stuff to do. There'll just be. I mean, every other event has had like 80,000 plus Pokemon Go players all in the same place doing raids.
Sounds like somewhere I want to be.
Trading, battling, whatever, catching. They have loads of
Name all the starters. You don't even like Pokemon.
That's one person on Twitter. One person. And they attack me. They attacked me for being too poor to own Sword and Shield when it came out.
Hold on. Is this a place where I can wear my my Pokemon jacket that Anna doesn't wear? Oh, absolutely. I'm there. I'm in. Yeah. If I can wear my Pokemon jacket in public. What?
No, You need to be at home then.
Well, let me wear my Pokemon jacket at home then.
No.
It's a weekend. Why does he need to be at home at a weekend?
Because I've got a dissertation to write. I can't do that with Andy.
You can write it on the
here.
train. Andy will come with us. You can write it on the train.
You were my only other person I could think of that would come with me. Not that I'm saying you were my last resort because I asked you first, but everyone else I know is either already on holiday or has 4 kids and can't drive to Liverpool. It's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. I can't remember the exact dates. I want to say
the exact date.
17, 18, 19.
When do you finish uni, Anna? This is important. This is very important.
It's in 3 days after that.
So what you're saying is you'll be finished by then, probably. And we can go to Liverpool and I can wear my jacket in public.
No, you can't wear that thing. It's disgusting.
What about if I write your dissertation for you?
I've also, as I've been cleaning out the garage this week, I've also found a Pikachu bobble hat.
See,
Nice.
This is it. You could be the height of fashion. You could be setting
Vlog
trends.
this stuff there, more
Yeah.
importantly. I know we could go there and I could sell my jacket.
Plus, I mean, you can vlog it.
I
know
that
you're
is that is the kind of content that my audience are craving. Pokemon Go. They love it when I include that in the vlog.
Whatever, when you go to events and stuff, it'd be a bit different, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If you ask them to move it back a week, Anna will be done. I know you've got some sway with Pokemon because you're the only person in the world still playing it. So just contact Pikachu and say, look, can you push it back a week? And then I'll be there.
The problem I've got is if you don't come, I've basically got to drive 3.5 hours on my own, stand in a massive park on my own, wandering around on my own. And the sad thing is I'm going to do it and I'm just going to feel
See, I kind of want to secretly go and film you doing that. I think that would be a much more interesting video, watching what you get up to on your own.
Because what I've learned this past couple of months is I'm into things nobody else is into that I know, and I try and find people that are into it, but I don't know them that well, so I don't. I asked them if they fancy going, and they're like, I can't really, and I was like, oh damn it. I did this when I was younger. I was go to gigs on my own because no one I knew liked the band that was playing. It'd just be weird. So I don't know. Probably need to just like more popular things, but I can't help it. It's going to have to be a loser.
Try liking the same things as me. I travelled to 3 separate wrestling events on my own last year. It would be nice for...
Not once did you say, I'm going to a wrestling event, do you want to come? You know what I'm like, I'd have already been in your car. I don't care. I went, the last time I happened to see wrestling on, I was wandering through Birmingham City Centre at 3 a.m, and a bar happened to have some wrestling tournament on, and I nipped in and watched the whole thing. I was there till 6 a.m, just because it was the only place in Birmingham that sold alcohol, and I was on a stag do, and we all just watched the wrestling, and it was great fun. I just take it as it comes.
Let's go to America this weekend for the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely, I'm in.
Excellent. Pab, you're driving.
I had to come wrestling.
We're going to the Royal Rumble on Sunday.
Right, okay.
You're driving.
Do I have to fight in it?
I think it's optional, probably. I mean, if we make the effort to go, I think we'll probably all get to wrestle.
Do you think if I just come streaming through with a chair in my hand and started hitting people, they'd assume it was part of the show?
If you were wearing a singlet, then yeah.
I am
Andre the
wearing
Giant
one.
style singlet.
Yeah.
Just over one shoulder.
Wearing it now.
Good. With your glasses steamed up.
They don't steam up anymore.
Well, then
You gotta make them steam up.
You've lost your gimmick.
I'm sure I told this story on the podcast, didn't I? That I went into Specsavers and kind of barked at the woman a bit, and she told me
And
there's
they
no
did
such
nothing,
thing.
but now you think your glasses are fixed. Yeah.
Well, she was like, "There's no such thing as mist anti-misting glass," and yeah, she I don't know what she did. In fact, I'm not actually wearing them. That's why they're not steamed up. Just realised they're on the side.
Wow.
I was like, "Where are they?" As I lifted to check they were there, but they aren't steaming up anymore.
So I suppose at some point, 20 minutes in, we should talk about some video games.
It's early for us, isn't it?
I know. Has anyone played anything this week?
I have played 2, but I don't know if I want to go first.
Go first, Sheepdog.
Go on, Sheepdog.
Please do, Sheepdog.
I promised that I would play games, especially after 6 weeks of talking about Pokemon Shield.
You promised you'd play games 10 years ago when we started a podcast, but you didn't stick to that one either.
You started watching YouTube videos of them instead.
Yeah, I did. It's just easier to go, I watched the clip. I know about it. People love it when I write off games after seeing 5 minutes of them.
On that topic.
Yeah. So I downloaded the Outer Worlds about a month ago, and I've been saying every week I might play it this week. I'll play it this week. I'll play it over the weekend. And I finally got round to it when I realised I hadn't played anything. I actually tried to download other games on my laptop and realised that my Mac is woefully under-equipped for even the smallest of indie games now. So I am in the market for some sort of new machine, which I can't afford and will probably not get. So I resorted to this even though I wasn't really up for it. And I made a list of my thoughts while playing it. And I will admit that I probably got an hour in. But my first thoughts, as it loaded, was this is an incredibly janky-looking game. Like, I don't know what I was really expecting. Everyone was raving about this. It's like it was the big thing that was coming out, and it was amazing, and it was incredible that you could just get it through Game Pass. And everyone was raving about this game, and the first thought was, ugh. Like,
Did you get that, Anna? Did you get that, Anna? Did you get that feeling out of playing it? No. I didn't get it either. I don't get. I'm racking my brain trying to think what you could be thinking.
Probably didn't have his glasses on.
No, I did. But you're on the. So when they send you down on the planet, I was just like, this planet looks like it's made of plastic. It looks awful. Like I just couldn't understand. Like Mass Effect 15 years ago looked better than this.
This looks like a video game.
An old. Rubbish. Well, not even old. I've got nothing against old games. You know, again, going to my reviews recently, the games I've played, I'd spent August playing Final Fantasy VIII and loved it. So I've not got anything against old games. This just looked like not right, and I don't let that necessarily put me off. But the controls just felt not right as well. It was swaying all over the place. It was really like ropey mechanics. It just seemed really off. And I just thought, oh, great. Like, that's a good first impression. So I started making notes, and note one was janky looking.
Yeah, I'll give you that, Sheepdog. I feel at first I didn't have the grips with the controls at first, and I wasn't massively keen on it. It felt weird. The movement felt a bit off to me. Whatever that. But I got used to it. I got to grips with it, and I felt it. Like I say, I'd have classed it as one of my favourite games of last year, and I barely played it.
So I then got to moving forward through the kind of steps of what to do, and the bits before that where you're picking your character specs, and it kept coming up with the adverts for the what's it called? Is it like Frontier or something like that?
Spacer's Choice.
Yeah. It just felt like the next thing on my list was poor man's Fallout. It just felt like a B rank Fallout game, which I know they have
Fallout without the license, pretty much.
Yeah, but without the style as well, and without the
it's a different style. It's their take on a new
layer of polish. Yeah, this is what Fallout would look like. Yeah,
I
know that Bethesda have bugs left, right, and centre, but it actually looks. I suppose. Do you know what? Actually,
but you've also got to look at the budget is probably massively different as well.
True, but what I was going to say is Fallout probably get away with covering all of the difficult-looking bits with dirt, whereas this is supposed to look like a shiny new frontier of like planets and
futuristic.
Yeah, and it didn't work for me. It just looked janky. I was willing to ignore that. I was willing. The controls are making me feel a bit sick because I get motion sick and so forth when controls are a bit janky and off. Yeah. And then I keep using that word, but it is the only word I can think of that kind of fits what I felt. But I thought I'll keep going, and then I was having conversations with people, and they are terrible. Like, they're kind of like a broken version of the Fallout conversations, but it felt like I was having the conversations you have in Civilization. Like when you're talking to Gandhi about don't invade me or I'm going to wipe you off the planet, it felt about as technical as that. They're just there with their mouth opening and closing, this really B or C rank looking person that they've cobbled together. again, the people in Mass Effect 1 look better. It's 15-year-old games could pull off a human-looking person.
Here's a question, sorry, just to jump
Go
in.
on.
You're playing this on what exactly?
Xbox One.
Base Xbox One.
The normal,
The original Xbox One.
Oh dear.
Right, okay. So
I wouldn't
that
play it on
that might
I'd
not
play it on the
might not
Pro.
help either. A Sheepdog, to be fair, because
It shouldn't make a difference because
well,
that's
it should
not.
do, because if the games are, like I say, it's an older machine though, isn't it? So
Well, so you're telling me that because it's an older machine, it makes it look worse than a
It might
game
not really-
that was
yeah.
on the previous generation to this machine?
no, I'm saying it might, your expectations might have been one thing, and because it's
My expectations were an Xbox 360 game shouldn't be better than it.
yeah, but I bet if you went back and looked at it, I bet they're not outclassed in Mass Effect. I bet they're really not. It's just your memory of that is what you're getting.
Fair enough, but the conversations were really weird and bad. This is going to sound stupid, I guess, but when I started the tutorial bit, I was like, oh, okay, it's not just got some annoying gun on the screen that I'm following around like a 90s shooting game where, like Doom, where you've just got a shotgun sticking out the screen. Then a guy handed me a gun, and all I had was a rigid arm just pointing forward, holding a gun. And if I turned, the gun just turned perfectly in line. And I just thought, what on earth? Like, how are games still doing this? And you know, I don't really like shooty games. I tried to put the gun away, and there isn't an option to put the gun away. I just have to walk around with this hand poking out, just holding a gun in everyone's face until it decided to disappear while they were talking. It just seemed, again, like a really bad thing that they should have done better with. It's 2020 or 2019, that shouldn't be a thing. I then started to get a bit fed up, so I went into the ship. I ran past all the things you're supposed to kill in a tutorial because I was like, I can't be asked to shoot things, just want it done, let me go. Got on the ship, it was just trying to be funny, and it wasn't funny, and I was just like, ugh. It's a bit convenient that the ship security was like, oh, I'm just going to not be security and let you have the ship, and it's like, oh, alright, you could have just written that different rather than trying to be hilarious. Did the ship bit, got out the ship thinking all the things that I didn't kill outside the ship would still be there, but no, they all just get wiped away by the game, so that, I guess they assume that you're going to spend the time to kill everything. So again, I was a bit like, this is a 2019 game, how has it just deleted all of the baddies just because I walked out of a room? Told some woman I was a ship inspector, so she let me go, and then I went into the town. I remember you telling me about the big dilemma with the characters where you were supposed to decide whether to steal the power from the poor people living in the lab or take it from the mean town man, and I thought that was going to be more of a kind of a what shall I do difficult decision. But when I got there, he was just some sleazy fat bloke in a bowler hat who was like, all right, geezer, you can't have my power. If you want power, why don't you go take it from those rats living in the lab down the road? And I'm like, I don't really want to kill anyone. He's like, I didn't say kill them. I just said take away their life support. And all of this nonsense. And I just thought, you're a bad person. So when it ended the dialogue, I just shot him. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to play this game all the way through. I'm just going to see what happens if I start going off, if I start going rogue. And it did make the game funny, but it also made the game very broken. So everyone in the room was like, and started shooting at me. My companion killed everyone in the room because I didn't really know there were other people in the room. I thought I was just talking to her and this fella, but she wiped out everyone in the room and then said, why did you kill him? And the options were, well, he just seemed like a bad person, and so I clicked that, and she was like, you can't kill people just because they're rude or something like that. And I just thought, she's not going to be my companion now, is she? And she said, I have to stay with you to make sure you don't kill anybody else. And then we walked out the door and she killed absolutely everyone in the building while I started looking for the power generator because I assumed it was in the room. I just wanted to get on with the story. If I get off the planet, maybe it'll be all right. So I then started wandering the town trying to find their power generator, and I just couldn't. While she just massacred wave after wave of named characters who I assume were probably important later on. Which was a little bit miffed about.
I had this experience at all.
I assumed that, like,
go on.
So there was like, I don't know, Corporal so-and-so and whatever, Sergeant whatever, and they'd all come running out, and I thought, they're probably characters. Like, I'm thinking I won't kill them, I'll just run, and then because it seems like that kind of game, it'll probably reset. I'll probably be able to come back later and make amends if I want to. But then she's just laid waste to the entire village. And I just thought, okay, I've really broken this now. So I tried to sort of persevere a bit. And then I thought, this is really making me feel dizzy. I don't think I'm going to get any mileage out of this game. Shooting games are just not for me, ultimately. Some can be. I like being able to just put the gun away and get on with the story and only shoot when I need to and that kind of thing. But this just felt like it misses all the things I've kind of got used to games doing, like newer things. I don't play, the CODs, the Battlefields. I don't want to shoot stuff. It's just pointless. It's not fun. All of those games are basically the same now. They might as well just become one title every year, where it's just like, whatever. Just give Call of Duty different packs where you can do the sci-fi one and the zombie one, which I know it kind of has. But just do that. Why does everybody need a different pointless repetition of a game? So yeah, I just uninstalled it. I'm not going to touch it. Like, I don't need people to tell me it's great, stick with it. I've got Spider-Man, Red Dead, and about 4 other games that people keep telling me to stick with that I did like. I just haven't had the time for. I'm not playing.
So in summary, that's a solid 8 out of 10 from Sheepdog.
No, it's just not a Sheepdog game. I know people love it when I write off games, and I mean that sarcastically, but it just wasn't for me, and I'm sorry. And I genuinely went into it with an open mind, which sounds really ironic after the slating I've just given it, but it was just unwieldy and a mess, and I just felt like it wasn't. I don't know. I just can't believe that's a 2019 game. Like, I feel like
Not only that, it was widely considered one of the games of the year, wasn't it?
It wasn't in any of our votes that anyone put forward.
I think it was Sheepdog.
I don't think it was
I think if you check our Twitter, it might even won our vote for Game of the Year on Twitter.
I don't think it did. I'm looking.
Have a look, Sheepdog, because
people are wrong.
Well, no,
it's not. It's because you're playing on a really old console. That's why they brought out two more from that one, because that one doesn't play games very well.
They should make better games because I don't know.
It's not the game; it's the hardware. That's why you've got the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S or something.
Yeah.
We have the S, which is 4K. The first one is just awful. I won't even play on that one. Kevin has it outside because I'm
currently using it to hold down a piece of carpet that I've re-glued.
Kevin,
other games look fine on it. I play plenty of games on it that look absolutely fine and work absolutely fine. If they're going to make that their excuse, they shouldn't have released it on this console. They should have just released it on the other two.
It's because Xbox paid for the.
Yeah, but they should just only make it compatible with the other two. If that's going to be their, you shouldn't be playing it on that. I know that's not how you said it, but if that's what they're going to go for, then don't release it on it. I played it on what it was released on, and it
would be interesting to see. I'm sure the statistics are somewhere. It would be interesting to see how many people are still playing on the launch consoles now this far into the generation, because I would suggest a lot of people have either upgraded or are now playing, certainly on Xbox, are now playing it on PC, which is how I play all my Xbox games now. I don't know that I'd bother getting an Xbox console again, so I just play all my Xbox stuff on PC.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so I'm doing it.
We need to find the statistics. I want to know how many people are still playing on a launch Xbox.
I don't think the difference between 1080 and 4K is that much anyway. I mean,
you won't get 1080 out of a base Xbox.
I think you can. I'm sure you can.
No, the highest thing was like 900p.
That's who cares?
But you're complaining that the faces looked awful.
I'm complaining because it was just crap. I just thought, whatever. I mean, maybe that's the reason. Fair enough, fine. But it wasn't very good. So it's just, I don't like shooting games. I think that's just it. If it's got a gun, I'm not going to bother with it in future.
But Red Dead has a gun, and the other one.
Red Dead's not about shooting, is it? It's about going about like being a cowboy and just living that life in the 1800s. It's not.
Yeah, but then you're going to play Mickey, and Mickey, yes, it's not a gun, but it's still a brush that you aim with that you shoot.
Yeah, but also Red Dead shooting is just holding the aim button and pressing X. He does all the effort, doesn't he? He was just going ping, ping, ping. That's barely shooting in that game.
Let's see.
Sheepdog touched on Civilization a little bit there, so I'm going to jump in and talk about Civilization, because Civilization is what I've been playing this week.
Yes.
Specifically,
Let me know.
I got my Switch out because I've had, those of you closely following my antics will know that this week I have been sorting out my garage/studio, if I want to sound fancy. So I've not been recording any Football Manager stuff this week, which of course means I haven't been able to play Football Manager, because if I'm not recording episodes, I can't play the in-betweeny bits. So I found myself with my evenings free, which I usually spend playing Football Manager, to get caught up ready to record again the next day. So I dug out my Switch and thought, I know the best thing to do when I'm not playing Football Manager is to play the second most addictive game in the history of the world. I'll have a little look at get back into Civilization 6 on the Switch, which is the best console, the best thing it's ever been on. It is perfect for the Switch. Pick up, put down. I've had the same save running all week, but what I noticed when I loaded it up is expansion pack, is it? It had the two DLCs that have been released on the PC version, which apparently came out on Switch at the same time as the game came out on the other consoles back in November. It only cost me another £32 to buy this DLC. Of course, I bought it immediately, and I've been playing through as one of the new civilizations or a new leader. I'm England, but with a different queen, because it's a I can't remember her name, Eleanor or something, who's also available as leader of France, because I even read the Wikipedia page to find out she was queen of both at various points.
What's her
Who
surname?
knew?
I don't remember it being.
I don't know. It's like nearly 1,000 years ago. It was during Norman times, but it was one of the new leaders anyway. And playing through as her and enjoying all of the new features that have been added by the new DLC. So natural disasters are in there.
Hey, Kevin, what did you find?
Oh yeah, this was awesome. When I first started, I had to learn how to take a screenshot on my Switch, because as soon as I'm back on Twitter, I'm tweeting this. But I placed London and then walked like 2 steps, and the first thing I found when exploring London was the River Welland. The river that runs through the town we live in was right next to where I started the game. I found 3 rivers, and they're probably the last 3 rivers I've seen in real life. I found the River Welland, the River Trent, and the River Thames, and they're the only 3 rivers that I've noticed the names of as I've been exploring. So it's like it knows what rivers I hang out near.
You do hang around near a few.
Yeah, they're the 3. They're my rivers, and it's. What are you laughing at?
Wow, they're my rivers.
They are my rivers, and they're all near my civilization in the game, which is awesome. But it's got natural disasters in there, which are really interesting. The floods, particularly, actually changed the landscape of the game, which I've never seen. I rarely get this deep into Civilization. I usually play when it first comes out and tend not to touch the DLC very much. So I don't know if this is a completely new thing or something they always add in later on into the cycle. But to see the actual map change a little bit as things happen is mad. It's got different ways of winning. It's got the diplomatic victories and things in there, which I always like a little bit of diplomacy. There's now a feature where if I have enough culture in my civilization, which of course I do, because I'm all about the culture, I can have... You don't have to aggressively conquer nearby cities, because if you're providing more culture than their own civilization is providing for them, and their loyalty points are low enough, which is another new feature, they can choose to switch civilizations. So I've had a couple of cities nearby that have jumped into my civilization as well, and I'm just having so much fun with it. I love Civilization. I almost wish that Football Manager would have a year off at some point. Like, not right now, maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, they just decide we're not releasing one this year, because then I think I'd just do Civilization for a year, because it is my second big love in gaming. It's the only other game that I can sit and just play for hours and hours.
That game's the closest I can get to doing what you do with Football Manager, where you are just hooked on it. Like, I think if you were to say to me you have to sit and play something on a channel, that would be the best.
If Football Manager didn't exist, that would be what I'd do. I'd just switch to Civilization and play that because I love it, and the DLC has breathed new life into it. Because I played this a lot when it first came out on Switch. It's the most I've played it probably since Civilization 3, maybe, which was. That was out so long ago that I remember I would sit and play that in my indoor office that I had at the time that became Amy's bedroom when she was born. And she turns 14 this year. So that's how long it's been since I've played Civilization as much as I'm playing this one. So I played it a lot when it first came out. Hadn't really touched it for about 6 months. But now I'm on it every evening again because it's almost like it's got the familiarity of it's still obviously Civilization 6. I know how this plays, but every now and again a new feature will just introduce itself to me and it's like, oh, okay, that's very cool. I like that. And it's awesome. It's £32. I know it's a lot for DLC, but it's no more than like a season pass on a big console game. It's PC expansion pack prices. I've got 2 expansion packs here, and I think it's worth the £32 for all of the extra entertainment I'm going to get out of it.
When I saw it had come out, it did make me wonder how far off they are from doing another one, if they're still bringing out massive upgrades to the last one. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think this DLC came out on PC like 2 years ago. There
was what's the blood red one that I saw earlier? I thought that's what you were talking about. The red plague or something. That's not on Switch. I was on Steam earlier because I kept getting adverts telling me games on my wish list were on offer, and they'd released a big upgrade for it. I thought this was the same upgrade. Sorry, but it's talking about the brand new.
So maybe there is more coming that I'm not familiar with. I'm now heading to Steam to have a little look.
Yeah, I think it's not in Paradise.
Gathering Storm is on Switch, and I think it's called Rise and Fall. Maybe is the other one that's on Switch. But
that sounds right.
Red Death new game mode Battle Royale came out.
That's a new
recently.
mode though.
Oh yeah, that's where you play against other people.
Yeah, sorry, because it mentioned
that that's not one of the big expansion packs. They have various.
They showed like a video, and it was showing other things it added in as well. And I just assumed that what you were describing is a bit of, it's coincidentally the same time as I was looking at that earlier. I
looking on Steam, Rise and Fall came out in February 2018. Gathering Storm was February 2019. That came out on Valentine's Day last year. What a Valentine's Day present! A Civilization expansion pack. So I assume, unless they're releasing one imminently, like a full expansion, they're probably done with Civilization 6 now, which I think has been out for a good while at this point.
Well, as I say, Red Death has just
5 years or so.
Was just being advertised in September, and I'm sure it's only just been massively on my Steam. I don't know how long it's actually been there, but I guess maybe
October 2016. Civilization 6 came out, so we're probably due 7 in the next 2 or 3 years, because I remember Civilization 5 came out at the start of our 3rd year of uni, so 2012.
That took so much time.
You did have Beyond Earth in between those as well.
Yeah, but that was more of a spin-offy.
But I was saying that was like I say, it was another game in between that as well. So
Reddit
reckons we must be due 7.
It says that 6 years apart. What? Hang on, that doesn't make sense.
It can't, unless it was our 1st year of uni. Civilization 5 came out. Maybe I know it came out at uni because I remember playing it a lot. In my head, it's the 3rd year it came out because I didn't get it straight away. I guess I could look in my Steam library, and that would tell me when I purchased it. It's not that important. The thing is, Civilization on Switch, if you've got a Switch and you like Civilization, but you're old, which you probably are because you're listening to the Mature Gamer podcast, if you're old and wish you could still play Civilization as much as you did when you were younger, but don't have the time to sit at a PC for 10 hours at a stretch, then being able to play it on Switch is perfect because you can just do 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. You can have a little go on it in bed because it's not... Anna doesn't usually let me play the Switch in bed because it's clicky while she's trying to sleep. But the beauty of Civilization is it's not click, 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 click. It's click, wait 3 minutes. Click,
how are the load times on it?
Slow, but they're slow on PC as well.
Yeah, no, sure. If they're normal PC speed, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not noticeably slower than the last time I played it on PC, which is a while. I mean, Civilization 6 on PC, I'm just trying to get my hours, but because Steam is stupid now, I can't see my playtime.
Is Gandhi still a monster?
I've got 0 achievements though, so I suggest I bought it on PC and then never played it, Civilization 6. So Yeah, I've not come across Gandhi recently.
He's probably waiting for me to enter the battlefield.
You know what he's like. He's a rascal.
I might consider getting that because I've got Amazon vouchers to
blow.
I was considering pre-ordering Final Fantasy VII Remake so that I didn't have to cower out of getting that when it came out. But a game now is better than a game in 3 months' time.
Exactly. You could be dead by then.
I wish I liked them games. I really do. I
thought you were saying you wished I was dead. Sorry, Pam. I've had enough of your stick tonight, but go on. They are fun.
Do you not like them then?
No, I've first heard people talking about Civilization when 4 came out or something like that, and I got 4, and I played one game solid for about 5 hours straight, and I couldn't tell you what I was doing. Honest to God, I was just clicking. I didn't know what was happening.
You've barely scratched the surface of that one save if you were only 5 hours in.
I sat there for 5 hours thinking something's about to click at some point, and nothing was happening. And I was just kind of mesmerised by what was going on, but I didn't know what was happening. I was like so baffled as to what was going on, and I've tried 5, and I'm like, I can't get out of the tutorial. I was like, no, not for me. This is not my type of game. But the way people talk about it and the way people play it, it's just one of them things that I just do not like it at all. And
it is the second most addictive game there is after Football Manager.
I'm
pretty sure anyone who likes my kind of games would probably agree with that.
I just don't get it. I just do not understand how the game works. I just don't get it at all.
It's very similar to Football Manager in that you click a little bit and then watch things happen and then click a little bit. And it's all about having a grand strategy rather than...
I think
nothing you do makes much difference immediately. It's kind of... You might not realise that, I really should have built a couple more pikemen 30 turns ago. You won't know that until you get invaded. It's one of those grand strategy kind of games where, you've got to be... It's like a big old game of chess. You've got to be thinking about what you're up to. You can't just plod through it.
Yeah, I so want to like it, and I
think to really get into it, you need to give up all games for a year, play nothing but this for like 8 hours a day. Because I think that's how most people got into it. Everyone I know who's really into Civilization has been really into it for years. I think it came free with one of my first PCs, and I didn't know what it was, but it's like, it's a game. I'm skint. I'll give this a try. And didn't really do anything else for months other than play Civilization. And I think that's kind of how you have to do it. You can't give it a couple of hours and then go and play something else and come back to it in a couple of weeks. You've got to just submit yourself to a life of Civilization.
I see it was cheap on the eShop over Christmas, so I might, if I see it on cheap again in the sale, I might get it. Never know.
It is better when you kind of research futuristic attacks as well. I mean, if you can invent the nuke, you're laughing.
Exactly, and I love laughing. Who's next?
Can I mention, because I mentioned to Anna that I when I got fed up of the Outer Worlds, I got Epic Mickey 2, which I've only touched on the first one a little bit when it was out, but I thought, you know what, I want to play that because I need to play something that can't possibly be bad, and obviously Mickey Mouse is awesome, so I played that and I really enjoyed it. I'm not massively far into it because I thought if I slow down, I can play it 2-player with my son. That's a great game. It's on Game Pass. I don't know what else to say on it other than it is fun. I've just enjoyed going around squirting stuff with invisible, what's it called? Thinning ink. I forget what it's called now. Getting rid of stuff, making stuff appear. Good game.
You've been cleaning by the sounds of it.
No, the one that makes the ink disappear.
I've never played Epic Mickey. I know nothing.
So you got 2 streams in this one. You either paint stuff with ink or you make it disappear with ink thinner. I felt a little bit sad for my son because he came in and apologised because the level was full of water. I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, when I played it the other day, I put the hat on and all the things came alive and they started filling the building. And I was like, Ollie, that's the plot of the game. I've just started a new game. You didn't do this. I did it a minute ago. And he was like, oh, I thought I'd ruined everything. And I was like, no, I fixed it now. I went and assassinated all the broomsticks and stopped them from filling it and emptied the place. And he was like, "Oh, good." And I said, "Do you want to play it with me when it's 2-player?" And he's like, "Yeah." So we're going to play it. But bless him, he genuinely thought he'd snuck in, put on a wizard's hat, and ruined. I mean, that's the plot of Fantasia. I need to show the boy Fantasia so he knows that that's what Mickey Mouse does. But yeah, bless him. He just jumped to the conclusion that he'd ruined everything, and I was like, ugh. But no, it does seem like a very fun game. We'll enjoy that.
I hope we do. Who's next?
Go
on, Anna.
I've not played a lot. I've lost a bit of I don't know what I want to do, what I want to play. I've put in 4 games this week, and I've never stuck with more than for an hour. So I put in Persona 5.
Okay.
I started it again, and the thing with this game is it's so slow.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, come on, yeah. Because I know what order the things are and what they do, I'm just like, yep, hurry up, let's get on with it. I'm just like, but I don't want to go back to my level 17 playthrough because I've no idea what's going on. Couldn't tell you what that dungeon place is called, not a clue. So I turned that off, and then I put in... Fallout 76.
Still people?
Yeah, people. Someone
okay,
who was
great.
a level 101 came into my house I was building and left me like loads of stuff.
Nice.
Just loads of plans for armor and flamingos to put in my garden and weapon mods and stuff.
Probably
like,
Barry Thesta just going, a player, let's give her
Someone
everything.
The only thing is, I'm not high enough a level to make these things.
So now you've got to play it. There you go. You've got to play it now to use it.
Then I turned that off because for some reason, like, I was doing the airport bit, which is like, I would say Act 3. Chapter 3. So you leave the vault. That's chapter 1. You go to a town. I forget the name. That's like chapter 2, and then chapter 3 is like the airport. But I'd go and play, I'd do my thing, but then I'd come out of it because I don't know, Andy came home or I had to go and do something. I'd reload it back in, like I'd load back in, and it put me right back where I started the first time, but everything is done. But this is where it seems to be where the spawn thing is. So like it will spawn you in there, so there's no enemies around that will hit you, but you can see enemies. But then I think it's just something they've got in their game, and that's where they spawn you for that area, which is fine. But it's annoying because I have to go through the area I've already done all that them missions to get to the mission I'm going to next, and it's just like, I can't be bothered. Because I know I'm going to go through this archway, and then these things are going to shoot at me, and I'm just like, ugh. And then I found a few months ago now, they brought out a, when, what are they called? Varsity houses? Like Kappa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, like university,
boys.
Like college houses, yeah.
And so I found one of them, and I was like, oh, I've not seen this before. And I have to go in, and I find a letter and a bunch of like college kids. Obviously, they're dead now, but like all their drinks are around, and you have to find the drink that poisoned them. And then from there, you follow it to a tattoo parlor, and then in there's a Nuka-Cola locker thing, like a drinks machine. And you go to it. As you open it, the whole thing comes away from the wall. You go down. It's a lovely like speakeasy boy kind of den, and it's like really, really nice. And then as you go through another door, you find a robot that's gone a bit mad because it's like a brain, but the brain, instead of the brain being in water, they've put it into this alcohol that killed them, and it's gone a bit mental.
Okay.
So you drink it, you drink the drink, and you can, the world goes a bit hazy, and you can see ghosts, and then you shoot them. Yeah, and that you only do it for like 2 minutes, and then you black out and you wake up halfway across the map.
Okay, so a bit like GTA with the
and then you have to go back, and then
missions,
the robot says, "Oh, you can have this drink." So it's got powers that you can use throughout the game. It's good in when you find the right recipe. So I found all the bits that it wants, but now it wants a quantum, Nuka-Cola quantum, which is the other side of the map that I don't want to go to at level 7. Like, I don't want to go over there because I know what's over there. And I just went, oh, I can't be bothered, so I turned that off. And then I put in Yakuza 0, because that game's mental. I don't know why I keep going to this game. It's mental. It's like, basically, it's Japan, it's set in 80s, and it is just like neon overload.
Yep.
It is just the maddest game. And like yes, I was playing it yesterday, and I was walking down the street, and there was this woman standing at the side of the street, and she was in like a dominatrix like get up, right? And in front of her there was a man on the floor saying, abuse me, right? And I kept going past it. I was like, I'm leave them to him going. And then I accidentally walked up to her, and she started speaking to me. I was like, oh, for goodness sake. And basically, she was really nice to the guy that was saying abuse me, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go, when I come back I want you to be like Mrs. whatever her name was. And then you, with this girl, asked you to train her, because he talked to the man, like he told him to go away, that he was a pervert and everything. And she was like, can you tell me how you speak like that? And then you go to a kids park, and then you have to role play her being dominant and him being the submissive, and there's kids there. I just don't know what's going on. Like, I had to call him a pig. I had to tell him to look at her and nobody else. I was just like, what am I playing and why? But she loved it. And then when I'd finished that, the kids came over and asked me what I was doing. And I was just like, I don't know. And then I went back to, so like, normally you don't go into buildings, like everything happens in the street or just inside. But this time I went down to a dungeon, right? I was like, because she wanted to give me a gift. And then the man that was outside on the floor saying abuse me came in, and I had to hide. And then it just started getting weird.
Then it started getting weird.
Yeah.
And then she was doing everything that she had just been taught, and he's like, oh yeah, she's doing very good. Like, he was speaking in his head, oh, she's doing very good. Oh, I'm beginning to feel a little uncomfortable. And then he just walks out, and then the three of them have a conversation, and then I leave, and her present to me was a furry tummy warmer.
Kev, are you seeing any of this going on at the time?
I'm not aware of any of this.
I'd love that, just for Kev to every now and again just look up at the telly and go, what? And then then looks up again, it's something completely different.
I now know what she gets up to while I'm out here working.
And it is such a mad game. Like, I'm going, but that's not the main story. That's just something I kept walking past going,
yep.
And then there was this other one. I swear to God, yeah, kids don't listen. So there was this young girl, right? And she was trying to sell you something, and he couldn't understand, because they have like slang over there, and he couldn't understand what she was selling, and he progressed asking her questions. It comes to it, because like I know this happens in Japan, in that there are vending machines for this. She's selling her dirty underwear.
Yeah, okay.
In the street, and like she asked, like, do you want top or bottom? And I'm thinking, oh no, you're a schoolgirl, what the hell are you talking about? And then she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go and get these ready for you. And then you're like, why are you doing this? And then she tells you that a girl is making you do it. So you go and find the girl that is making her do it. She's a schoolgirl. She's doing it. And then she's like, oh, I can look after myself. And then this creepy guy comes over and starts like being really like creepy. And then you beat him up. And then she's like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. Thank you for the rescue. And I'm like, what? But now I just don't know. And then I had a big fight with someone about a building, and now
a plot.
Yeah, and now it went chapter 2 complete. Do you want to save? I went yes, and then it went to like a cutscene with 2 men in a strip club, I think, talking about real estate, and what I can gather from it is now I'm going to have to start buying real estate.
Okay, and I've got a question for you.
Yep.
Have you heard about a chicken yet?
Nope.
All right. All I'll say.
I thought there was another thing I had to do. There was these men, right? They were like tramps who were living on the street, and before they were taught to me, this is why I had to buy them beer, scotch, champagne, sake. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And some weird cocktail thing. And I don't know why. Because I did that, they told me something I already knew, and left. And I was just like, the game's mad. But I got it ages ago, and I keep going back to it.
I like that you do that. I like that you keep, every few months, you come back to this game and tell us all these wacky stories that have been going on. And it's great.
It's mad. It's such a mad game. And I was like, alright, but I turned it off yesterday, because Andy came home and to tune in. But then I've also been trying it. Well, I have been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yes, Odyssey. Because I want to go to Atlantis. Now,
yes.
I've downloaded...
Not Atlanta.
No, Atlantis. So, I found it. I know where it is. I know what I've got to do. But what I've got to do is really hard. Because I thought... Because I finished the game. I finished Odyssey. The ending was like... Yeah, I was just like... Really? I think I got a good ending. But I'm like... Ugh, it's a bit of not of a great payoff. But I'm like... Alright, never mind. But I want to go to Atlantis. That's all I've been trying to do. Want to get there. And I thought I had to finish the game. Oh, no. Because I thought... Because the quest is... when 2 worlds collide or something. And I thought that meant you made up with your sibling, off you go, and then you can go and do your side quest. Oh no, that's not it. So I went to the Atlantis place that I found. It's on my map, I know where it is. I went down there, I had to go and speak to someone, and they said I had to go and find some... there's this massive room, and in front of you is like the water, but it's closed off with a force field, and you've got stingrays and sharks and just fish floating by, and it's lovely, it's gorgeous. But I have to go and find these amulets, I don't know, things from the world. And now I was like, oh God, I don't like mythical beings, because when I played this game the first time...
Are you banging your pen into the table as you talk about this?
I found a pig that I couldn't beat.
I thought she was explaining why she was banging it. I found a pig, so I was banging a pen.
So I can remember talking about it. I couldn't beat this pig. This pig just
I do remember the pig
relentlessly, and I've never gone back to that pig. That pig is still up there living its life, because I have no interest in that. And basically what I have to do is go and get these amulets from 3 mythical beings, which are a sphinx, not one you would think of like the one in
Egypt.
In Egypt, this is where this got like wings, and it looks like a bird, but it's got a snake tail. Very weird. That one was easy, because all I had to do, instead of fighting it, I had to answer 3 riddles. The riddles are quite basic, and then you have to pick like these things on the wall. As long as you get them correct and in the right, so like she'll ask you 3 questions, you have to pick the 3 in that order. Then she just like dies, and then you get the ammo from her. Then the next one, I thought, right, well, I'll go and get the Minotaur. I think
that's right.
And I found the area that was in. I know where he is, but I can't go in there until I have armor. And now the armor, so you've got what? Your head, your chest, your arms, your legs.
Yeah.
So I've got to go and find all of them. And I'm in the bottom right of the map, so I've never been there. I've got to go and find 5 different pieces of armor in these big forts, and I'm just like, oh, for goodness sake, I don't want to do that. Yeah, like I know where they are, but then I'll go. Yeah, I know where they are, but I'll go to one place, but then there'll be like 3 exclamation marks, and I'm like, they're different quests. And they're making me do other things. I'm just like, why am I doing this? Just go to the things, but I can't ignore them because it annoys me when they're there. And I was just, so I've got to do this area to go and fight the Minotaur, which is under a big thing. I believe there's a labyrinth down there, but I obviously haven't been down there. I turned that off because I was just like, I just want to go to Atlantis. I just want to go and look at the pretty birds and the pretty flowers and the pretty, not flowers, coral, and the animals. But apparently it gets very dark, as in like nothing looks like that. It gets Inception, there's things on top of that, just like, so I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. But yeah, so that's the 4 games I've had a look at this week, but nothing has piqued my interest enough to want to carry on. I'm just in one of them. Ugh.
Bring on March.
Yeah. Well, what's out in March?
Animal Crossing.
Yes! Animal Crossing is the best game. I should go back to my old one. I need to find my DS. Oh, my poor villagers. Oh.
No, I can't see anything now. They're all overgrown in
Yeah,
grass.
but the thing is, when that game comes out, this house is going to have 3 of them, because I'm going to want one, Kev's going to want one, and Andy's going to want one, and probably Amy will have 4 of them. Oh my god, they cost me a fortune.
Kev, you need to find her Switch before she finds it. Change her name on it. I'm assuming they call you Anna on it, but just change it to like bitch, and then when she loads it, and they're like, oh, hey bitch, it's been 360 days since you last appeared.
Oh, it's probably longer than that. I've not touched my DS in such a long time. But yeah, that's been me this week. Bits and bobs.
I imagine Pab's not bothered playing anything.
I have played very little games this week.
Lazy monster.
I lie. I've played a lot of one game. I finished Star Wars Jedi.
Pab, can I just say, while it is you talking, you were absolutely right. Outer Worlds was our game of the year. I was mixing up with Game of the Generation.
What's going on?
It's just
I didn't hear that.
Sorry, you said that Outer Worlds was our game of the year, and I said it wasn't. It absolutely was. I was thinking of Game of the Generation.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, sorry. So I've been meaning to say that. I thought I'll wait till it's Pab's turn and tell him. I didn't mean to derail you there.
It's all right.
But
yeah, I have finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I've played a lot of it this week.
I've not finished that yet.
I feel like playing it on easy was the best option for me.
Yeah.
And anything, I feel like it was a little too easy then, because I would get a good beating and it'd take a little sliver off my health, and I was like, wow, I never needed the stim packs, hardly ever. I think I got down to the last probably hour, and when I was getting a good hiding, I'd take probably a quarter of my health bar, and I was like, this is really too easy. This should be really difficult, but I'm just beating the hell out of everyone. I think it's because I was playing it literally on story mode. Yeah, I really enjoyed that game for what it was. The story is really cool. You end up at all sorts of different weird places, and there's loads of little nods to Star Wars stuff. If you like Star Wars, I would say you would get something out of this. I don't necessarily think you're going to get something out of it if you don't like Star Wars. But yeah, it's like I say, it told a really cool and interesting story, and I enjoyed what I played by the end of it. I initially wasn't blown away by the actual gameplay. It was fine, and it, like I say, just found it a bit frustrating at times. And then, like I say, since I've turned it down just to get the story, I've had a blast of it really. So yeah, I have finished a game. First game of 2020 finished.
Yay!
A game from last year. I have.
There's nothing out this year.
No, there's not. There was something that came out earlier this week on Switch, which I think has been out on PC for a little bit, that I purchased, called 1980X or 198X, and it's like a pixel art sort of based game set in the 80s, and it's like I I can't get to grips with it just for a few reasons. So it starts you off, and it's all very like pixel based, not like 8-bit, but like pixel based artwork, kind of like. This tells this story of this young girl who's set in the 1980s, it's telling you this story of who she is and like where she lives or whatever, yeah. And then she finds this arcade, and it kind of like changes her world, like sort of thinking, because it's like she didn't feel like she fit into this town but like I say, she finds this arcade, and she finds like she becomes like fits into this. She finds where she belongs, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then from what I can tell, you start playing different arcade games in the thing, and there's obviously a story that goes around it in the meantime when you play these games. But the problem I've got is you start off and all the screenshots show like all these different games that you play in. So you play like a racing game, like a brawler type game, and a space shooter and stuff like that. It shows it like, oh, that's really cool. Like you're playing like all the old games, like. So the first one is like this space shooter, similar to like a side-scrolling space shooter, like Gradius or R-Type or something like that. And they're not really my type of game, so I can't progress because I presume you have to beat this level of this game to progress the story and what have you. But I really can't beat it because it's not my type of game. And like it's like, so you had a little spaceship, and you like these Gradius and whatever from the old days, and you just kind of move around this screen scrolls left to right, and you kind of just shoot everything that comes in your way, and you get everything shooting at you. And I just cannot I just don't have the coordination. I just don't know what it is. It's really hard. I think I got really close, and then I died, and it just puts you right back to the start, and you have 3 lives. And you have to, and it's like, oh my word, I can't beat it. And I was like, can I just exit the gate, exit this arcade machine, and like push the story? I was like, no, it's making me play this game. But I really want to play it because I'm getting Paper Girls vibes from it, and I know that won't mean a lot to some people, but Paper Girls is one of the best comic books that have been in the last 5 years.
That is correct.
Yeah. And I know it's nothing like Paper Girls, but I'm getting a similar vibe to it from this game. So I really want to just proceed. Because like I say, I know there's other games there that's like, there's Outrun kind of like looking games, and Smash TV looking games. There's other brawlers and stuff like that. And I was like, I really want to I want to see what it's, because it's like I say, there's a story based around this like arcade and whatever, and I want to find out what the actual story is. It seems really cool. And I might be completely wrong saying that after all that, but that's what I'm getting based on the first half an hour that I've played of it, that I can't get past any further. But I'm going to try really hard for the next week or so to try and get at least past that level, this one arcade machine, because I really want to. And the only other thing I've been playing this very evening, Apex, the Grand Soiree event, has come to the game mode finally, where he's play the old map, and I've been back to the old map on the Apex Legends, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my time going back to the old map after finally getting used to the new one, and they just dropped me back in the old one again to go and have a run around the old places we used to go. It was quite fun just having we didn't get any wins, didn't really do anything in the game, just had a good wander about the map again, like looking around all the old places you play and whatever. It's been fun. And roll on season 4, which is start of February, 4th of February, I think it is, the new season. So we've got all that to look forward to as well. Wait. I know, indeed. But that is it. That is your lot. Like I said, most of my week has been taken up with Star Wars, finishing that. I've played a lot of it this week to get it finished.
Splendid. All of which brings us to the end of what has been the longest non-special podcast we've done in a long, long time, which is particularly impressive when you consider that we had a false start and had to re-record the first 20 minutes because it was all Sheepdog's fault.
That whole tribute we did to Lee McElwain has been lost forever.
Yeah. He'll never believe we did it. We didn't.
Yeah.
Well, we're mocking him furiously.
We have recordings you'll never hear.
I've deleted them. I don't want there to be any evidence.
I'll delete mine after the show just to be sure.
Good. But that does wrap up this week's podcast. There is a Twitter for the podcast. This is the final week I won't be giving you mine, so make the most of not following me on Twitter for now. But you can follow me again next week. But for now, follow the podcast at MGUK Podcast.
And I'm at RB6K, where you can mock me for playing a new game on an old console.
And I will, starting again from next week. I will mock you every day for a month. That's next month's habit.
I'm at Miss Lelusion.
And I'm at Fab1986.
And we shall see you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Cheerio.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Whoa. Cheerio isn't part of the normal outro. This is all wrong. Restart the podcast.